Hey everyone, welcome to the ASV Experience. I'm your host ASVP, and on tonight's review we got the Raw review and we also got Undertaker The Last Ride Chapter 2. And you know what? I didn't actually mind it. It was all about redemption. It was about him redeeming himself after the Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania. The one previous episode how they were talking about, he didn't, after that match, he didn't feel, really good about it. He didn't feel like it was his last match. So, Vince called him up in his office. You see Vince in a t-shirt. I think you probably have never seen Vince in a t-shirt, and it's a bright orange one as well, which is pretty cool. And he talks to the Undertaker with Michelle there, and he talks to him, like, how would you feel like, we do another match after that, blah, blah, blah. And, Undertaker's like, if you want me to, I'm always ready for you, It's just showing that, just that bond and love with each other. And you can just see, Undertaker, he actually called his son Vince. After Vince took over, that's how much love he has for him and how much love, Vince has for Taker. Because undoubtedly, Taker's probably, the most, loyal wrestlers he's ever had. And, we see that happen, and then you see him, like, train for his next match at WrestleMania, which was, taking on John Cena. And you see him like going through training and all that, and it was pretty funny. He actually got himself ready for a 40-minute match, but he only wrestled for like 5 minutes, and they have a laugh of that, and you just see his confidence build throughout every step of the way throughout this episode. You see him also like going to the doctors, and the doctor says how many operations you had. And, Taker just keeps, talking about it. He goes, he's had so many. But it was really cool. Like a really, sympathetic, side to see Taker in. You can just see, how much he's like such a leader in this, and how much people actually love him. Like even John Cena, John Cena's, one of the most valuable, superstars wrestlers WWE's had for like the last 15 years. And, John Cena comes up to him and he hugs him and, he thanks him, like that's just how much, Taker means to, the roster and the WWE. And then you also hear about that contract that he signed, till like a 13-year contract or whatever. It's just crazy. So that was about it for, the last ride. Then moving on to, Raw. And, opening segment, we had Randy Orton and Edge. And I actually like that they opened Raw up, because they closed Raw up last week, and it was like a little continuation. Like they just couldn't wait, just to talk about their match at Backlash, and how Randy Orton, like he kept saying this is going to be one of the greatest wrestling matches ever. I don't know if that's what WWE are selling it for, but if you've seen Randy Orton wrestle for like the past 5 years, he's very slow and very basic. He's got like John Cena's moveset where he's got 5 moves in his arsenal. Edge also coming back, he's going to probably, be ripping out all these new, moves and combos and all that, which is going to be pretty cool to see. But, they, lit more fire to the, they lit more, flame to the fire, which was pretty cool. And then after that, we have the Monday Night Messiah, Seth coming out with, Buddy, and, Seth's just talking about, just what Messiahs talk about, I guess, how he's a leader and all that, blah, blah, blah. And Carrillo comes out and interrupts Seth, and then we have a improv match. Carrillo taking on Murphy. Pretty good match, but at the end we have Aleister Black coming out. He comes out, saves Carrillo. And then it builds a match for Aleister Black taking on Murphy later on tonight. Then after we had Charlotte Flair. She's cutting. She's keeps every week. She cuts a promo. And every week it just gets better and better. And this week, it was pretty. It was great, to be honest. Ruby Riott, she calls out Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott comes out. They have a match. Flair wins. Again, like it's just making it look strong. She keeps talking about how she's, the hardest working. Not female wrestler, but the entire roster wrestler they have at WWE. Love seeing that. It's great seeing this though. How much can you really have, just Flair running through all these women competitors, because you can't, you just can't keep doing that. You need someone to, build a feud with and all that. So, hope to see something like that happening. Then Kairi Sane comes out. She actually throws a party for Asuka. And, they're, yelling, laughing, singing, dancing, just normal stuff that these two actually do day in, day out. Nia Jax spoils it as well. We have that. Then after that, we have, R-Truth coming out. He has this little, Pretty Ricky going off with him and all that. Calls out Bobby Lashley. They have a match. Bobby gets the win. And then, backstage you see Lana getting fed up with like how MVP and Bobby are with each other. And she tucks a tantrum. Love to see that. It's good. You can still see their, feud happening. To be honest, Bobby Lashley is probably the only... there's a few others, but probably the only, wrestler that actually has like a long-term storyline that actually is stemming way, way, way back from, this WrestleMania that just passed for like, him and Lana's going on for a good, maybe 6 to 8 months now, and it's still continuing and all that. And, you're seeing like little stuff like this happening, which, I actually love that WWE is doing that. It just makes you feel for it more, makes you get more in depth into the storyline, which is pretty cool. Then we have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross coming out defending their titles on the Iconics. And the Iconics actually get themselves disqualified because they go a bit, on a tantrum. Didn't expect that, to be honest. WWE, they wanted something like this anyways to happen. It was either going to be, a roll-up or interference or something like that. Something different to get a DQ. Actually not, because we saw Bobby do this a couple of weeks ago getting a DQ. So it's not that new, though. But yeah, it was, pretty good match, It's just going to continue their, like, little storyline. So yeah, Iconics had a little, a little bit of a tantrum with each other as well. It's pretty good to see. Then we have a backstage, segment with Asuka, and she actually takes out Nia from the back because of, from her party getting interrupted and all that, which is pretty cool to see as well. Shayna Baszler, she takes on Natty in a submissions match. We haven't had a submission match for God knows how long in WWE. And, Shayna gets the win. Natty, she was just fuming at the end. They were setting up, the set for the Kevin Owens show, and Natty just like, she runs wild, chucking all this stuff. Great to see. Then after that, like I was saying just before now, KO comes out, starting his show, and Selena Vega's actually, whole stable comes out, with Andrade, Angle, and Austin Theory. Kevin Owens starts talking to him back and forth. Selena on the mic, she's absolutely great. I actually, love listening to her. She's pretty cool. I just love how she says Drew. It's just hilarious. Like little stuff like that she does. Kevin Owens starts talking, she just tells him to shut up. It's just little stuff like that where, yes, she might have a script though, but she's still like listening to Kevin Owens when he speaks, and just having a bit of a freedom, which I really do like. But then we have Apollo Crews coming out quickly. Starts bashing him on, and we actually have another improv match. Owens and Crews taking on Garza and Andrade. Crews gets the pin, which well deserved, to be honest. Like, continues their storyline, and not don't know how long I can be saying this for, but WWE, they're pretty good at like continuing storylines now. They haven't done that for so many years now. It looks like every week they're just building on top of these storylines. Yeah, they're not the greatest storylines. They're not the Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin storylines. Not a Kurt Angle storyline, but it's still something, and it's still good to see. And after that all happened, Andrade and actually Garza attack Theory, and they lay him out, chuck him out, and the commentator says at the end of their relationship, and little do we know that actually is. And then comes the main event. Prior to the main event, we have Black taking on Theory. Aleister Black taking on Murphy. And during the match, it was a quick match as well. But during the match, Seth actually picks up Austin Theory, and I loved how Austin Theory still stayed there. Still beaten up and all that. But that's not the point. Seth picks him up and he's like, "Go, Austin." He's like, "Do it." And Austin runs in. And he actually takes out Black, and then they all come in, beat up Black. And it was crazy to see. We have Austin Theory already joining a new stable, from one stable to another. And it was pretty, pretty cool to see, Austin like evolving, because he wasn't really, stuck well with that group, as them being like all Hispanic and all that. This, I reckon, him with the Messiah, they can have, Murphy looking strong, him looking strong, Seth looking strong. It could be a really good stable. We could even have like a stable versus stable with like Angel and Andrade taking on, the Messiah and his, lackeys and all that, which is pretty cool. You can do like so much with him and stuff, and it makes Seth look just, stronger, because he has another backup. But we all know how Seth is. He came in with the Shield, and Seth's always been really good with, someone by his side, if that's, with the Shield, or if that's with J&J Security. For me, Seth in WWE at his best is always with someone by his side, just because how they can portray him, like in the Shield and now as the Messiah. Even with, the Authority, who was an annoying heel, though, he was still better than him by himself as a heel or as a face. Then we actually have now the main event, Kim Corbin taking on Drew McIntyre. And, Bobby Lashley comes out with MVP examining the match. Drew gets the win, as we all thought. They explained a little bit about the rules, how 4 competitors each year can come to, Raw or SmackDown. Either roster, they can swap. I like that little detail. And it was a pretty cool match. Drew gets the win. And yeah, that's about it for this week. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah.